welcome to the AWS studio, Luca. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Robbie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's get started. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your role at Capgemini?
For sure. I'm Luca Ghirotto. I'm the head of Advanced Networks, an international team working on the network evolution, network modernization at Capgemini.
Tell me more about Capgemini's cloud journey.
Capgemini is a global leader in consulting, technology services, and digital transformation. For sure, it is at the forefront of the innovation in several topics, for example, cloud, connectivity, digital and software engineering, platforms, and more. Helping clients in their journey toward the intelligent industry, supporting them in some crucial phases, for example, from strategy to design to managing operation. To achieve this, Capgemini is relying on more than 360,000 employees, means engineers, scientists, business developers, business managers, over 50 countries worldwide and across several sectors, for example, energy and utilities, finances, and for sure, telecom, media, and technology.
So how's Capgemini using the cloud to transform your business today?
Yes, our business is heavily involved in at least four major trends. The first one is the network cloudification that is targeting to have open and multi-vendor network ecosystems through the containerization of the network functions deployed on the cloud. The second one is the development of 5G digital services that requires to have a cloud-native approach. Number three are the 5G private networks in order to have fastest access and agile use cases development. And last but not least, the sustainability. Sustainability is having an ever-increasingly role and will be increasingly central in all the main interaction between the telco players. Particularly referring to the 5G and Edge, we have been participating for some years, supporting important players in the world.
So let's talk a little bit more about your relationship with AWS and how we've been able to support you through developing these new B2B solutions. What do you value most about your current collaboration with AWS?
Yes, in the network cloudification, the relationship with AWS was able to leverage dedicated CI/CD automation tools, thanks mainly to the infrastructure as a code paradigm shift made available by AWS. For sure, we can refer to the lower TCO enabled by the transformation, let me say, from fixed costs into variable costs, in addition to seamless error-free operation. Regarding the development of 5G digital services, Capgemini has implemented a microservices approach, moving much of the functionalities, the computing, from devices to the cloud. And this kind of modularity, let me say, allow us to deploy our solution both in standard environment, AWS region, for example, and the Edge cloud. And this kind of modularity is giving us a very good flexibility in terms of solution. Regarding the 5G private networks, we are defining specific blueprints in order to have 5G PVN hosted on AWS. And regarding the sustainability, I think that the example I'm going to show you today, to describe to you today, is an example of collaboration for sure.
So we've talked about the infrastructure evolution and how it's been used to transform your business, namely infrastructure as code, containerization. Let's talk about the application. So what exactly did you build and what was the customer problem it solved?
Yes. As we all know, telco players are strongly demanding cost saving for sure, avoiding or reducing the initial investment to set up the infrastructure, fast deployment, and the activation of services in order to target initially the B2B model. As we wanted to demonstrate how easily, how effectively can be 5G use case implementation, leveraging both the 5G connectivity provided by a telco player and the cloud hosting provided by AWS, we developed this relationship last summer in order to provide a specific use case for an important Tier 1 in Europe for a utility company. So, concretely speaking, I'm referring to a remote assistance solution whereby experts located in some central rooms give to experts in front of an equipment, so in field, support in terms of operation, in terms of troubleshooting, in terms of all the activities, fixed activities, crucial in a live environment for sure. This solution is also including capabilities regarding the computer system, also the object recognition, and smart glasses, for example, to interact in an easier way. Clearly, there are similar solutions in the market, but our, I think, is able to integrate many components, and this is key for sure. The last point to highlight here is the remote, the word remote, that is very key, because a client can reduce in sending experts in field with their car, so reducing pollution and the CO2 level. I think this is an example of a concrete example of attention to the sustainability, and once the solution will scale, I think we can add a specific layer on top to the embedded layer there is thanks to the cloud itself. Just think the lower emission from facility thanks to the reduced power usage and the hardware footprint.
What I love about this solution, it almost feels like it's multi-layered in its sustainable approach. It's not only architected in the cloud to be sustainable, but the underlying use case is sustainable, removing the need for further carbon emissions. So maybe tell me a little bit more and help me quantify the impact or customer benefit. What else did your end customers see through this project?
The solution was tested and deployed in AWS in around 10 days. So let me say very quickly and effectively. And the end clients said many times, listed many times several benefits. For example, the cost saving, for sure the operation and troubleshooting reduced time, reduced the risk to have wrong actions in operation, and the possibility to use scalable and flexible procedures.
How did AWS support you through the implementation journey as well as the deployment?
AWS supported us in all in the design of the containerized environment in order to achieve the best performance application and meeting, let me say, all the requirements in terms of connectivity, for example, bandwidth and latency. And for sure supported us in defining all the complementary service set in order to be able to achieve the overall solution. I think the collaboration was very reactive, very responsive, very, very good. So thank you very much for this collaboration.
We appreciate the opportunity.
It's an example to replicate for sure.
Well said, and we appreciate the opportunity to collaborate. I mean, such a great example of the customer seeing a direct benefit, not just from the evolution of networks, but complemented with next generation edge infrastructure. So many opportunities to leverage our continuum of edge infrastructure, from the Snow family to IoT to local zones, AWS wavelength, everything in between. Just a tremendous use case in general. But maybe I'll ask you, let's look to the future for a second here. What do you think the next level of B2B applications with 5G connectivity might entail?
Yes. We have some ideas for sure. The first one is to launch new or existing 5G trials, free trials for enterprises, a sort of, let me say, try and buy initiative that is very important in order to stimulate the market. And we need to stimulate the market because we need to increase the 5G monetization. Other areas could be for sure next steps regarding the telco OSS and BSS systems, and for sure we need to have a focus also in the end-to-end quality of services solutions. And finally, it's very important to keep developing use cases, having a special focus on the sustainability. For sure, we need to create other concrete examples in such as a strategic area that need to become a priority for all of us.
Couldn't agree more, and a fascinating use case and customer outcome you described here today. So thanks so much for joining us in the studio here, Luca.
It's a pleasure.
And really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much.